Hey Wagwan, this is Carrie from Kerriannskravings. Welcome back to my channel. Today in my kitchen, I'm going to be cooking up a delicious pot of curry goat. It's going to be simmered in some rich coconut milk. It's going to be so good. You're not going to want to miss this. Stick around and let's get cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is prep our meat. We're going to rinse your meat in some vinegar and water. Then we're going to rinse it with some fresh water, drain it, and pat it completely dry. Next, you want to cut them up in 1-inch chunks or smaller. Try not to cut them too big because the bigger they are, the longer it will take to cook and vice versa. So now we're ready to add some seasoning to our meat and get things going. So first I'm adding my custom seasoned blend. This is going to add such a great layer of flavor into our goat meat. I will link the details on this in the description box for you. Next, I'm going to add some crushed pimento seeds. These are going to add such a great flavor to our dish. I'm going to add some onions, some fresh thyme. I'm going in with some scallions. I'm also adding a few bay leaves. I'm going to also drizzle a little bit of vegetable oil all over my meat. This is going to keep it super moist. I'm adding some soy sauce for flavor. Then I'm going to add some all-purpose seasoning. And of course I'm adding the star for sure or curry powder. Next, I'm adding some turmeric, which is going to boost the color of the curry and add such a vibrancy to our dish. Next, I'm going to follow that up with some salt. Then I'm adding some onion powder and some garlic powder. So don't worry about writing everything down. I'm going to list all the ingredients and measurements in the description box for you. So now we're going to massage all our seasoning into our goat meat. You want to make sure that your goat meat is completely coated in all your seasoning. I'm adding a little bit more vegetable oil. This will help me to really work the seasoning into our goat meat. We want to make sure that all the pieces are covered because we want our curry goat to be super flavorful. So I forgot to add some black pepper earlier. It happened. So I'm going to go ahead and add it right now and combine everything again. And I added some crushed ginger off camera. So you want to go ahead and add those in as well. This is perfect. This is exactly how we want our goat meat to look at this point. So I'm going to cover this up and allow it to sit for a few hours before cooking. Overnight is best. The longer it sits in the marinade, the more flavorful your curry goat is going to be. So now it's time to start cooking. So I'm going to heat my vegetable oil on medium flames for about 3 to 4 minutes. You want it to get nice and hot. Next, we're going to add our garlic and our scotch bonnet pepper. What we're doing at this point is extracting all those flavors from the pepper and the garlic. We want it to infuse the oil. Now, if you're looking for more intense heat in your curry goat, you want to go ahead and add slices of the scotch bonnet pepper instead of the whole pepper like I'm doing here. So you can adjust the heat level for your own taste. So we're going to saute these down for about 2 to 3 minutes and then we're going to add our meat. So now we're ready to add our meat and we're going to sear this for 5 minutes in its own juices and our infused oil. We want to seal in those flavors before we start adding our water. Oh, this smells incredible with all those flavors. The aroma is just so intoxicating. Now set that container aside, don't wash it just yet because there's a lot of flavor that's still sitting in there and we want to make sure that everything is completely incorporated in our meat. This smells amazing, just amazing. It smells so good. So we're going to turn our meat a few times. We're going to flip it over in the pot. We want to make sure that all the sides get a nice sear so we can just lock in those flavors. So we'll sear these off for 5 minutes. So now that the 5-minute mark has passed, we're going to go ahead and grab that container that we seasoned our meat in. We're going to add some water so we can start cooking our goat meat. So I'm going in with 2 cups of water. You want to add enough water to cover the meat to allow it to cook. You don't want to add too much water because we're not making soup. This is perfect. Now we're going to increase our flames to medium high, and we're going to cover our pot and allow this to cook for 30 minutes. So while my curry goat is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prep my potato. I'm going to be using it later on in my cooking process. I'm going to peel it and dice it and set it aside. To prevent our potatoes from getting black, we're going to go ahead and sit them in some water. This will slow down the oxidation process while we wait for our curry goat to finish cooking. So now we're at that 30-minute mark, so we want to go ahead and check on our meat to make sure it's not sticking or burning, and to check on our liquid levels. If our liquid levels are low, we want to go ahead and top that up. We want to make sure that we have enough water to cover the meat because we need the liquids in order to cook our goat meat. So once everything looks good, we're going to go ahead and place the cover back on and allow this to cook for another 20 minutes. So now that our 20-minute mark has passed, we want to go ahead and check on our curry goat once more. Once again, we want to make sure that our meat is not sticking or burning. I'm also going to go ahead and check to see how tender our meat has gotten at this point. So we're more than halfway through the cooking process and our meat is not yet completely tender. So we're going to cook it a little bit more until our fork passes through our meat easily, because that's the level of tenderness we're looking for. So now I'm adding some coconut milk to my curry goat. Not only is it going to give it a really nice flavor, but it's also going to give the gravy a nice, smooth, silky finish. It's going to be so good. It's really going to be good. So I'm going to add my potatoes as well and reduce my heat to a medium flame. Then I'm going to add a little bit more water just to bring up my liquid level to make sure that we have enough liquid in our pot to continue cooking our goat meat and our potatoes. And now we're going to return our cover to our pot and allow this to cook for 15 minutes. So the 15 minutes has passed, and I'm going to go ahead and add some butter, which is going to give our curry goat a really nice flavor. So we're going to check again to ensure that our meat is not sticking or burning and make sure that our liquid levels are exactly what we need them to be. So I'm going to remove the pepper at this point. I don't want it to burst in the pot, and discard it. So I'm going to take a sample from the pot and check again to see how tender my meat has gotten. For some reason it was a challenge trying to cut the meat on the spoon with the fork, so I just went ahead and just ate it and tasted it, and it was very tender. Our meat is ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and add my final touches. So go ahead and taste your gravy to see if it needs to be adjusted for salt or some all-purpose seasoning. I was able to taste it while I ate that piece of meat a few minutes ago. So I'm going to be adding some more all-purpose seasoning just to bring up the flavor a little bit more. Next, I'm going to reduce my flames to low and allow this to simmer for 5 to 10 minutes. You want to make sure that you have a nice, thick gravy consistency. And there you have it, my loves, a delicious pot of Jamaican curry goat simmered in some coconut milk.